What up guys, it's How the Races Won, the Bonelli short track, Norco factory team. I'm Peter Disera, here we go. Okay, we're off to a sick start. Whole shot was good, super important to get out there. Looking back, I've got Andrew James Lesperance on my wheel. Quick peek over the shoulder just to know he's looking good and sitting in, getting that draft. It's really important to keep the speed really high off that start. We had a few teammates that were way back, so we stretched that field out as much as we could. I wanted our teammates Quentin Disera and Sean Finchen to move up as easily as they could by having lanes available, keeping it fast and hard. As you can see around this corner, they're probably back there by that black arrow, but the field's nice and stretched out, which is important going into the next section as it's got to be kind of safe. Once it all gets bunched up, it gets a little nasty and can get dangerous, so keeping that speed high there, keeping Lesby and I out of trouble, and hopefully the boys back. We come into a 3-option downhill. You can take the inside off camber, or you can go outside. You gotta remember they all merge up right about here. So once they merge up, you then whip down the quick descent, quick peek over your shoulder just to make sure Lesby's doing good. Nice swinging right-hander. Try not to take out any of the photographers as they all sit and poach right there. Coast into these next few corners. Now kind of grass crit style corners here, but note that the entire field is still completely single file. So heading into the finish, it's important to remember that there's not a ton of moving up, or if there is, you got to be aggressive. Now I come around this corner, there's a little sign there. We're going to come back to that later, quite literally. So quick speed through the feed zone. Again, keeping pace high, keeping things strung out. I've got Andrew on my wheel, looking good out front there. We come around, there's a preem lap coming up the next lap, so I let Andrew take over. And we would just look to keep that pace nice and high until we see the other boys. So coming back into the downhill here, you can see Leandre Bouchard there takes that inside line, but you got to watch that merge. A few other active riders in the race. Alex Wild and Keegan Swenson made a couple attacks out there, and Luke was quite active up at the front. Here's kind of that bunchy spot where things get really packed up and tight, so on a couple of the slower laps there was a lot more going on there. You gotta be careful going into the downhill that you don't take your own teammates out. So that was a good one of Sean Finchen moving up as best as he could. It's important to remember to stay near the front, but try not to be on the wind as well, so you float around the group a bit, but when people calm down the pace a little bit, you can move yourself up pretty easy. It's also important that when there are disagreements in the race, you have to have conversations with your colleagues and peers and let them know what they're doing. And as we approach the final lap, I am on the front, pressing as hard as I can. Leandre Bouchard's coming up on the left there to try to pass. And I'm trying to string it out because I knew Andrew was in a good position. I was trying to set him up as best as I could. Right here we have Jose and Chris jump me around the corner. I am smashed. Andrew jumps in good, he's in third. Moto snuck around him, but after a couple mix-ups and a little bit of a sneak in there to the left, Dre ended up getting him. He also didn't like that sign, so he wanted help with tearing down the course, so he took that sign out. As I said, we'd revisit that. And then quick sprint up the hill to the end. Fifth place for Andrew James.